Hey guys, it's Miss Steele. I'm here with another story for you. I hope you're enjoying your Thursday and are excited that tomorrow is Friday, which means it's almost the weekend. So, today we are going to read Mr. Seahorse. Mr. and Mrs. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea. Mrs. Seahorse began to wiggle and twist this way and that. Can you wiggle and twist? So they're Mr. and Mrs. Seahorse swimming in the ocean. It's time for me to lay my eggs, she said. Can I help? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Oh, yes, thank you, said Mrs. Seahorse, and she laid her eggs into a pouch on Mr. Seahorse's belly. I'll take good care of our eggs, said Mr. Seahorse. I promise. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a group of trumpet fish hidden in a patch of reeds. So there's the patch of reeds. Can you see the trumpet fish? There they are. They were behind the reeds. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Stickleback? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Delighted, replied Mr. Stickleback. I just built a nest, and right away, Mrs. Stickleback laid her eggs into it. Now I'm taking good care of them until they hatch. Keep up the good work, said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. So that fish, Dad, is taking care of the eggs too. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a lionfish hidden behind a coral reef. There's the coral reef. Can you see the lionfish? There he is. Lionfish are actually very poisonous. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Tilapia? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Mr. Tilapia couldn't answer. His mouth was full of eggs. I know, said Mr. Seahorse. Mrs. Tilapia laid her eggs. Now you are taking good care of them until they hatch. Mr. Tilapia nodded his head. You must be very happy, said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam on his way. So Mr. Tilapia has all the fish eggs in his mouth. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a pair of leaf fish hidden among the seaweed. I see seaweed, but I don't see any fish, do you? Oh, there they are. They were just hiding. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. How are you, Mr. Curtis? Asked Mr. Seahorse. Perfectly fine, replied Mr. Curtis. Mrs. Curtis laid her eggs, and I have them stuck on my head. Now I'm taking good care of them until they hatch. You are doing a good job, said Mr. Seahorse, and he swam on his way. As Mr. Seahorse drifted gently through the sea, he passed right by a stonefish hidden behind a rock. I see the rock, but I can't see a fish, can you? There it is. That's a stonefish. But But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. "How are you, Mr. Pipe?" asked Mr. Seahorse. "Couldn't be better," replied Mr. Pipe. "Mrs. Pipe laid her eggs along my belly. Now I am taking good care of them until they hatch. You should feel very proud of yourself," said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. That's a pipefish. It's long and skinny, just like a pipe. But before long, Mr. Seahorse met another fish. "How are you, Mr. Bullhead?" asked Mr. Seahorse. "Tip-top," replied Mr. Bullhead. "Mrs. Bullhead laid her eggs, and the eggs hatched. Now I'm babysitting." "You are doing a fine job," said Mr. Seahorse, and swam on his way. Look at all his baby fish. His eggs have already hatched, so now he has little baby fish to take care of. The time had come for the Seahorse babies to be born. Mr. Seahorse wiggled and twisted this way and that. At last, the babies tumbled from Mr. Seahorse's pouch and swam away. One baby turned around and tried to come back into the pouch. "Oh, no," said Mr. Seahorse. "I do love you, but now you are ready to be on your own." Look at them go. Teeny tiny seahorses. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. I love that story. And I love the illustrations, the pictures, because they're by Eric Carle, and he's one of the best. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something about ocean animals and how some daddies have to take care of the babies before they're born. I hope you're having a great day. Hope you're getting some work done and having fun. And I will be back tomorrow on Friday with one more story about the ocean. Have a great one. Bye-bye.